Okay, number 6. Hey, by the way, none of you guys said anything yesterday. It wasn't yesterday because you wouldn't have seen me yesterday. Did you guys not notice? No one said anything about the fact that this has 2 dots and then it's not an arrow. That Mrs. Talbot saw an arrow where there was no arrow existed. Let's go back to that quiz review paper. This actually has 2 closed dots. I didn't realize it until after you guys walked out, and I was like, no one said anything to me. Anyway, it's supposed to be -2 is less than x, less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 6. So -2 to 6. And then the range is supposed to be -6 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to +6. Did anyone have that sadly and erase your thing because you thought that you were wrong or say, yeah. Trust yourself. Tell Mrs. Talbot you probably didn't see that there was a dot there, not an arrow. Very, very happy that you guys got that though. So I'm special. All right, so moving on, we fixed that. Go back to the warm-ups. Just reminded me of that because this particular one has arrows. Okay, so first of all, it is not a function. I'm going to draw my failed vertical line test right there. Okay, now this one has arrows for sure. I see them. They're going forever to the left, and the graph goes all the way to here. So that is a ray. So the domain is x is less than or equal to 0. And then the range goes up forever, all the way through here and down forever. All real numbers. Number 8. Number 8 is a multiplication problem. You multiply the exponent, multiply the numbers in front, and then add the exponents on the things that go together. This v does not have an exponent, so I'm going to put a little 1 there. 1 plus 3 is 4, so v to the 4. And then u doesn't have anybody to combine with, so he's just u to the -1. And then he's negative, so he's going to go downstairs and become u to the +1. And then I'm going to just rewrite it without the 1 exponent. So 8v to the 4th over u. Any questions on number 6 or 8? And did I do them correctly? That's a joke. I'm kidding. Okay. So can you guys find, there's a resource page in here that we're going to use, but not right away. It's the one for number 36. It has a bunch of graphs on it. So just find this page for now. And then scooch it off to the side and grab your notebook. Also, you're definitely going to want a straight edge today. So if you do not have a straight edge, grab one at this moment. There's a learning curve. Okay, you guys, so for 35, we're just going to write some notes about the things that we've learned so far about slope and things like that. So if you have a tile pattern, so if you're dealing with a tile pattern, which is a lot of what we've been doing so far, you'll find the equation by y equals growth times x plus figure 0. Y equals growth times x plus figure 0. And I have told you, don't connect the dots. And the reason we don't connect the dots is because you can't have like half of a figure number. And that's kind of where we were at for chapter 1 and the first part of chapter 2. And now this is where we're going. So we're taking our tile patterns and we're making them functions. And I want to write it right underneath because it's really the same thing. It's how we teach you with tile patterns. And then we move to functions because it's really the same. Just the word growth becomes slope. And the words figure 0 turn into y-intercept. So f of x is y. Remember, we can interchange those as much as we want. Growth becomes the word slope, which we found with those triangles and things, times x is the same. And then figure 0 turns into y-intercept. And we shorten it even further to y equals mx plus b because we're too lazy to write out slope and y-intercept a bunch of times. I am too lazy to write out slope and y-intercept a bunch of times. So we shorten it to letters. And I believe m is like motion or movement. I have no idea why b is b. Begin? Who? Yes. Even if it's not, that's what we're saying it is. Okay. Anyway, so for the slope, that's the letter M. And so far we have been finding it two ways, change in Y over change in X. And I also call that rise over run. And there are 4 different types of slopes. We're going to draw little pictures. This guy going uphill is a positive slope. This guy going downhill is a negative slope. The flat horizontal one is a 0 slope, and we had that on Tuesday. And then there's one more, which is like vertical super steep cliff. Does anybody remember what that's called? You guys told me you learned this last year. What's that called? Like searching your brain. It's called undefined slope. And it's undefined because you can't divide by 0. So if 0 is on the bottom, it doesn't work. So it's undefined. Okay, so that's M. B is the y-intercept. Which is a coordinate 0, comma B. So that's why we're looking for figure 0 in the table or in the tile pattern, because the coordinate starts with 0. And it's always on the y-axis and has the coordinate 0b. Make sure you're looking for your y-intercept on the y-axis. Okay, now if you guys could, as soon as you're situated with this, switch back over to the resource page in your packet for number 36. And we're going to use this information that we just wrote in number 35 to graph a bunch of lines on number 36. I believe it looks like there's 7 of them. Everybody done with the screen? Anyone need more time with the screen? You sure? Okay. All right, so we need to go to the book to see what they're asking for in all of these things. Okay. Hey, line A goes through the point 2, 5. Okay, can everybody graph the point 2, 5 in that first graph? 2, 5. Okay, now everyone take your ruler, any kind of straight edge, draw a line through the point 2, 5. I know, just do it. Any point, any line through 2, 5. I'm trying to make a point here. Just put your ruler down, line it up with 2, 5, draw a line. You're looking at me like I'm crazy because everyone's going to have a different answer. Don't do what I do, which is nothing. Okay, so my question is this enough information? Is one coordinate enough information for you to draw a specific line? No. Everyone in this room should have a different line. I'm not even going to draw one. I'm just going to refuse because there's going to be somebody out there that's going to copy mine. Okay, so Just a point's not enough info. Moving on. B. Line B has a slope of -3 and goes through the origin. What coordinate is the origin? 0, 0. Okay, so line B has a slope of -3 and goes through the origin. Okay, so you're going to start by graphing a dot at the origin. And it says it has a slope of -3. So you're going to go down 3 over 1. Down 3 over 1. Okay, and then I always want you to backtrack. So up 3, back 1, up 3, back 1. Fit as many dots on the graph as you can. And the reason I like you to backtrack is because sometimes they go off the graph and you need to be able to backtrack to fit it on your graph paper. Okay. Equation y equals, what was the slope? -3x plus, and what is our y-intercept? 0. Okay, now you guys are not going to see this written like this ever. I'm going to leave it like this right here on my paper for a moment so you can see that the slope was -3 and the y-intercept was 0, but you're always going to see a final answer of this. So this would be like your work, and then you would simplify it to that. If you left it -3x plus 0, though, I would not mark it wrong. It would be fine. It's totally fine to leave the plus 0. Okay, good so far with A and B? Okay, C. Line C goes through the points -3, -2. Okay, so everybody graph the point -3, -2, and the point 3, 10. Oh no. We're just gonna have to eyeball it. -3, -2, and 3, 10. Okay. All right, now I need the slope, so I'm going to draw my triangle. And I can tell that it's going through 4, so I made a dot at 4. And then I made my triangle between those two dots. Okay, so I'm going to do this in 2 steps. I'm going to say rise over run x plus, and then the y-intercept is 4 right there. And then final answer, y equals 2x plus 4. Did I do something wrong? I'm just second guessing myself every minute now. Okay. Really possible. D. Line D has the following table. Okay, so I'm gonna make this bigger if I can. All right, everybody graph these points in line D. 2, 1, 3, 3.5, 4, 6, 5, 8.5. So notice I backtracked it down so I could find the y-intercept. Or you could be just really careful with your ruler. Do you guys have it going through -4? Okay. Okay, now this is a really great moment for me to mention that slopes should never be decimals. I'm going to say that again and make sure that I'm on my recording. Slopes should never be decimals. And the reason is because you're counting boxes. 2.5 boxes is awkward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my triangle with what are called lattice points. Have you ever heard the words lattice points before? Miles has. It just means whole number coordinates. So I'm going to make sure my triangle goes to whole number coordinates. Okay, y equals rise over run x, and then the y-intercept is -4, so you put -4. And that one cannot be simplified. That's done. Okay, prepare yourself mentally for E. This is another one where you're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's not me, it's the CPM book. I swear. Okay, everyone in the class, draw a line with a slope of 4. Draw a line with a slope of 4. Where do we start it? Doesn't matter. Anywhere. Pick a spot. Okay, there's mine. Do you have a different one? I hope you should have a different one. Every single person in the class should have a different one. Is this enough information? It's just giving you the slope. Is that enough information to get the equation? No, because we all have different lines. Now I could figure out the equation of my line, but the point is they just gave us the slope. We need 2 things to be able to make the equation. Okay, F. Line F goes through the points 8, -1. Okay, so everybody graph 8, -1. So start with the point 8, -1. And then it says it has the slope of -3 over 4. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about. go down 3 over 4. Uh-oh, we went off the graph. So now I need to teach you how to backtrack. So down 3 over 4 is the same thing as up 3 back 4. Up 3 back 4. Up 3 back 4. Okay. Y equals negative 3/4 x. So I can get that from my triangle and making sure that it's going downhill, but the problem also told us the slope was negative 3/4. What's the y-intercept in this one? 5. Okay, last one, then we're going back to the notebook. Customer G sent the following table. Okay, graph these points. 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 8. I can't graph 4, 16. I'm not even going to try, but I don't need to because you can see that there's wackiness going on already just from the first 4. Do you see the wackiness of which I'm talking about? Okay, what's the problem here? It's not a line, right? It's a curve. Does anybody know what kind of curve this is? It has a very special name. Starts with a P. It's called a parabola. And you're going to spend almost all of the year of math two studying parabolas. This is going to be like your best friend. But anyway, what we need to put is not a line. Okay, scooch that page over. We are done with 36. Okay, so who's too lazy to graph stuff all the time? You're not saying that. What would you want to say? Okay, who's too lazy to graph things? There are always people in my class who don't want to graph stuff. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on a formula to find the slope. You probably already know it from everything that you already know, but there's a formula for slope that you can use if you don't have a graph, which is great. The problem with it is there are children who struggle with subtraction and subtraction of negatives. So we have to be careful with the subtraction in this formula. So slope is y2 minus y1, which is change in y, over x2 minus x1, which is change in x. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And what I do is I come over to my point and I label it x1, y1, because remember, these are x, y coordinates. X2, y2. And then I plug them into the formula. So slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Seven minus 5 is 2. 5 minus 6 is -1. So my slope is -2. Okay, what does a -2 slope look like? So just put a point somewhere on your graph paper. A -2 slope is down 2 over 1. So it will look like this. Okay, now notice B. I threw in a bunch of negatives this time. So we have to be really careful with our subtraction. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Slope equals y2 minus, okay, now we have a negative here. I highly suggest you put that in parentheses. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you're going to make a mistake, it's going to be right here. And you're going, if you make the mistake, people just do 7 minus 11 and then they forget it's minus -11. Okay, so I'm going to simplify this. This becomes plus, so -16 plus 19 over 7 plus 11, which is 3 over 18, which is 1 over 6. Okay, draw a dot, and a slope of 1/6 is up 1 over 6. gonna do these last two for number 38. These ones are weird ones. These are the like weird circumstances. So we're gonna do the formula. We're gonna pretend we don't notice that they're weird. To see what happens. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. M equals Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. And this is 4 over negative 5 plus 5. You should start to feel like, uh-oh, something weird is happening here. Okay. We can't divide by 0, so we know the slope is undefined. If you try to do this in your calculator, go ahead, try to do 4 divided by 0. It's going to give you an error. So even if you're not sure, like let's say you're taking a test or a quiz and you're like, I can't remember which one is which. Just do 4 divided by 0 and it will give you an error. It'll be like, oh, I can't do it. So it's undefined. But what does that really mean? It means that the line is vertical. Does anyone have like something to add here that you might notice? You might not notice, but like, does anyone have like a yes? Minus a negative is plus. No, it's added. It's not multiplying. Oh, you mean because of the parentheses? So if the negative 16 and the negative 19 were right next to each other without the minus in the middle, it would be times. A negative number minus a negative number is plus. No, a negative number minus the negative number. Yeah. Yeah, plus. Well, we have to talk about Cecil and the tightrope. Yeah, exactly. Oh, what? Okay, you do this well. Your fellows are gonna do amazing. So if you just make a little baby one in front of the parentheses, and then pretend it's negative 1 times negative 19 is positive 19. Type it in the calculator, make sure I did it right, but use the parentheses. Okay, anyway. What I was trying to get at here, does anybody notice that a vertical line fails the vertical line test? So this is not a function. That's what I was trying to say. That's also why it's undefined. Okay, anyway, what do you think is going to happen here? Just from your mathematical powers of deduction. Again, Sports Center. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1 which is 0 over negative 7 plus 5, which is 0 over negative 2, which is 0. And again, if you're not sure, just go 0 divided by negative 2 on the calculator, and it will give you 0. Okay, and a 0 slope is fine. It just means that the line is horizontal. Okay, now I have some really, I have some people in here who are really good at finding math patterns. If you're really good at finding math patterns, what you can do is before you do all of this beautiful work, you can say, oh, the -5 match, which means that it's going to be vertical and that slope is under 5. You could actually analyze the problem from the beginning. And this one, you say, oh, the 3's match, so it's going to be horizontal, so the slope is 0. If you want to, you don't have to. You can analyze it from the start and do less work, but it's not required. Okay, next thing, real quick. Can you guys tell me what the homework is? Slope practice worksheet. Okay, so I am going to, by the way, it's 2 sides. It's the front and the back. What do I need to stamp? Let's just go back here. Yep, okay. So I need to stamp, wait, this too? Or did I stamp this? Is everybody stamped? Yeah? Okay, so anyway, it's probably this and this is what I'm thinking. And then you guys should be working on the slope practice worksheet while I walk around and stamp.